All right, let's get right into it. We are about to break down what might just be the single most persuasive letter ever. I'm serious. This thing was written by a prisoner almost 2,000 years ago, and hidden inside is basically a masterclass in the art of changing someone's mind when the stakes are incredibly high. I mean, it all really comes down to this one question, right? Something we can all relate to. How do you convince someone you care about to forgive a wrong that seems, well, unforgivable? A deep betrayal. Now imagine you're the one who has to ask for that forgiveness, but not for yourself, for the person who did the wronging. Where do you even start? So, to really get the genius of this letter, we first have to understand the situation. This isn't just a friendly note. It's a high-wire act, a tense drama with three people at its center, and the request being made isn't just awkward, it's actually dangerous. So here are our key players. First, you've got Paul. He's an apostle with a lot of influence, but here's the catch. He's writing from a prison cell. He's writing to Philemon, a rich and respected church leader, and the person at the very heart of this whole thing, Onesimus, who is Philemon's runaway slave. The power imbalance here is just massive. And this is what turns the whole thing from a difficult conversation into a life-or-death situation. Under Roman law at the time, Philemon had the absolute legal right to have Onesimus executed for running away. No questions asked. So when Paul decides to step in, he's not just asking a small favor. He's risking his own reputation and asking Philemon to go against a brutal, deeply ingrained part of their society. So, how on earth does he pull this off? Paul knows he can't just storm in and make demands. No, instead, he builds this brilliant, multi-layered argument that, honestly, is a playbook for persuasion. Let's break down his strategy, step by step. His first move is a total surprise. He doesn't start with the problem, he doesn't mention the runaway slave. He starts with praise, and it's genuine. He affirms Philemon's good reputation for his love and faith. Now, this isn't just empty flattery. It's a key principle of persuasion. You remind people of their best qualities right before you ask them to live up to them. Next, Paul makes a really strategic choice, and he says it right out loud. He basically says, look, I could pull rank here. I have the authority to command you to do this. But he doesn't. Instead, he chooses to appeal for love's sake. He shifts the whole dynamic from a top-down order to a personal plea, from one friend to another. It's a timeless lesson, right? Influence is almost always more powerful than authority. And right after appealing to love, he leans into his own vulnerability. He's not posturing as Paul the great apostle here. He presents himself as Paul the aged and a prisoner. He's stripping away his power and appealing from a place of shared humanity, of suffering. And that makes his request so much harder to just dismiss. Okay, so the foundation is set. The groundwork has been laid. Now Paul is finally ready to talk about Onesimus, but he's going to reintroduce him in a way that is designed to completely shatter Philemon's entire perception of who this person is. Just listen to these words. He doesn't say, I'm writing about your fugitive slave. He says, I'm pleading with you for my son, Onesimus. My son. With that one word, he completely reframes the relationship. He's elevated Onesimus from a piece of property, a runaway, to a beloved member of his own family. It's an absolutely radical move. And this is where Paul gets really clever. You see, the name Onesimus in Greek literally means useful or profitable. Paul brilliantly plays on this. He says that this man, who was once unprofitable to Philemon when he ran away, has now become incredibly profitable or useful, not only to Paul in prison, but to their shared cause. It's this incredible wordplay that signals a total transformation. And here it is. This is the knockout punch, the climax of the whole argument. Paul lays it all out. He asks Philemon to welcome Onesimus back, not now as a servant, but above a servant, a brother beloved. Think about that. In a society built on the brutal hierarchy of master and slave, this idea was socially explosive. It was a challenge to see this person not through the lens of Roman law, but through the completely new lens of their shared faith. Now, Paul is smart. He knows that an emotional, spiritual appeal might not be enough. There's a very real, practical problem here. Onesimus running away cost Philemon money. He anticipates this objection, and he prepares to completely remove it from the equation. First, he validates Philemon's loss. He says, look, if he's wronged you or owes you anything, he's not dismissing the financial hit Philemon took. He's acknowledging it. That simple act builds trust and shows that he's thinking about the practical side of things too.
And then, the ultimate move. Paul says, "Put that on my account." He literally takes on the debt himself. And when he adds, "I, Paul, have written it with my own hand," he's turning this personal letter into a legally binding promissory note. He is removing every single possible excuse Philemon could have for not forgiving Onesimus. It's a masterstroke of negotiation. You find the other person's biggest barrier, and you remove it for them.
So the letter's almost done. But Paul isn't finished. His final moves are so subtle but so powerful. They're designed to apply the perfect amount of pressure, while at the same time showing that he has total confidence that Philemon is going to do the right thing. Let's just walk through this closing strategy because it's brilliant. First, after offering to pay Onesimus his small debt, he gently reminds Philemon of the much bigger debt he owes Paul, his entire spiritual life. Oof. Then he expresses his confidence, saying he knows Philemon will do even more than he asks, which plants the seed of not just taking Onesimus back, but maybe even setting him free. And finally, the killer move, "By the way, get a guest room ready for me." He's basically saying, "I'll be there soon to follow up." It's the perfect way to ensure accountability without ever making an open threat. And that's it. The letter just ends. The historical record is silent. We never find out for sure what Philemon decided to do. So it leaves us hanging with the weight of that choice. After an argument this masterful, this persuasive, an appeal to your own character, to love, to faith, all backed by a personal, legally binding financial guarantee, the question is, what would you have done?